Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakurash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught us his truth in the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. I'm Shaquat, and I'm back with another lesson. Lord willing and edifying to the hopeful elect, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakathum. To you, sincere Akyom Wa Akwat, and a sincere Shalom to you brothers out here pushing this truth out on the highways and the byways and through the YouTube lessons, man. Shalom to you all. Right? So, Lord willing, this is edifying. As you see by the title of the lesson today, it says Immoral and Cruel. Right? Immoral and Cruel. And you see the thumbnail, so you should know who it's talking about, right? It's talking about your boy Nero 47. Alright? You know, me and the brother went into a few of these articles, some of these topics yesterday in our lesson, which has not uploaded for some damn reason on either of our pages. But it's sort of hey, the Lord know we did the work. Right? The Lord know we did the work. So even though the videos ain't uploaded for some reason. But, that was vexing. But, regardless, nonetheless, Immoral and Cruel, man. I have an article that's entitled that concerning Nero 47. Right, so let's go to it. Fair use. All right, fair use. This is all under the Fair Use Copyrights Act of 1976. All right, where all public information can be used. All right, for personal usage, whatever. As long as there's no money being made off of it, I can use this information. I'm strictly just here to educate people who would like to listen. Right, so, yeah, man, so it says politics, right? Immoral and cruel. Trump under fire after latest shocking threat. Trump under fire after latest shocking threat. All right? And let's see why he got called immoral and cruel and why he's under fire. President Donald Trump on Tuesday threatened not to fund SNAP benefits until the government shutdown ends, which, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the longest government shutdown in the history of the United States. All right. As of Tuesday, it hit day 36. All right. Or, forgive me. I may be wrong on that. Long was the Gov shutdown in Trump's first term. So yeah, his first term, the shutdown lasted 35 days. All right. We are now on day 37. We're on day 37 right about now. So yeah, today is day 37. And the government is still shut down. We're now 2 days, not a full 2 days, but we are 2 days past the record. All right, not full, but it'll be full 2 days tonight. But nonetheless, we're still 2 days past the record, which was set in Trump's first term of that one government shutdown that was December 2018 to January 2019. Right, December to December, which was crazy. But we hoping that it stays shut down. Because through this could lead to great distress among the people, and that could lead to shit hitting the fan. Because at the end of the day, we're already in Jacob's trouble, right? We're already in Jacob's trouble. Jacob is indeed in trouble right about now, especially with all the ICE, the cold water stuff going on, the frozen water situation, right? Especially with them and what's going on with the Northern Kingdom and now to the Southern Kingdom as well, right? Which it hasn't been much talk about them in the past few weeks for some reason. But, they're going to pop back up eventually. But, yeah, so I'm going to read this again. President Trump on Tuesday threatened not to fund SNAP benefits until the government shutdown ends, despite 2 federal court orders that his administration is required to, prompting a slew of responses online. Trump shared on his Truth Social platform on Election Day SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, many-fold, during crook Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking. Shit, I wish I knew that in his term. I would have been asking too. It says, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, and not before. So, this is once again just a propaganda battle between the rightists and the leftists, right? The plebeians and patricians, all right? The plebeians being the Democrats and the patricians being the Republicans. If I'm not mistaken. I believe I got that right? So, just that back and forth again, like it's always been, the two horns speaking a great voice. But even then, at the end of the day, they're all being controlled by one. They're all working in tangent as a team. This is all just political propaganda, which is bullshit at the end of the day, right? Because we know what it really is out here. We that are in the know, we see through the BS that this devil's trying to push out there. And you're now being exposed, Esau. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this nigga's not opening up SNAP benefits, even though those judges basically was telling this nigga, you gotta do it. But this nigga said, nah, we ain't doing that shit. He operating like a king. He's moving like a king. That's why they doing all this no kings protests and all that shit. Because this nigga moving like a king. And while all these Americans suffer, Trump is out there building the damn ballroom at the White House while all these people are suffering. It is funny, honestly. That's enough on that. I want to grab another one since I just said that. Where is that article? Yeah. Top 10 U.S. billionaires gained $698 billion as millions struggle to survive. A new report by reveals that the combined wealth of the top 10 U.S. billionaires surged by $698 billion over the past year, underscoring the country's widening economic divide. The report warns that Trump era, alongside decades of bipartisan economic decisions, have driven inequality to unprecedented levels. Right, and then, that's the point I just wanted to make. The rich are getting richer while the poor is getting poorer. That's what I want to get concerning that. The rich are getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. And it's getting to a point where there really is no middle class. Because even your middle class, working class citizens, even they're struggling, right, by this point. Even they're struggling. So it's like, there's really no winning right about now. You know, it's really no winning. Right? Shit's just getting bad out here, man, you know? It's getting really bad, and we love to see it, and we hope it gets worse, because we just hoping to get up out of here at the end of the day, right? That's what we want, is to get up out of here, right? And in the midst of all this shit happening in the news, right? Brothers blowing the trumpet on these things that are going on. Hell, I ain't even made a lesson on what's going over there in the East, but trust me, it's getting wicked. It's been wicked and it's getting more wicked, right? But, as I was saying, you know, all this stuff is happening in the world today, right about now, and you still have guys like the IUIC fucking trying to go do protest against the Philip Anthony Mitchell Church and all that shit. You know, you still got IUIC coming up to people's campuses, talking about mine, preaching BS, you know, preaching that individuals have to keep the laws perfectly in order to be saved, even though they don't do that themselves. No, now I've just been informed by somebody on my campus who spoke, you know, some devout Christian dude who spoke to the IUIC, and he said now instead of them saying there are 12 tribes, which I don't know how true he is, they saying that, he may just made the shit up, but he said that now the IUIC, instead of saying it's 12 tribes, now they're only saying it's 3. Or forgive me, now they're saying it's only 3 tribes. Right? They're saying it's only 3 tribes now. And I said, let me guess, Judah, Benjamin, Levi? Say, yeah. I said, I don't get that though, because they teach that Latinos and Native Americans are also of the tribes. So I don't get it. So I say, are they now changing their doctrine once again? Wouldn't be surprised. Their leader is double-minded. And when your man is double-minded, what do the scriptures say about that man? He's unstable in all of his ways. So I'm like, golly, these dudes just going off. Right? It's a bunch of folly going on, you know. It's a bunch of folly. And, you know, the devout Christian dude, he believes we're in a new covenant. Which, hell, I guess the IUIC and him shouldn't have no fucking beef with that, because IUIC say we in the new covenant. If you want to lie, we can pull the receipts on that shit. Or when Nate said that shit, he basically said, whoever don't believe we're in the new covenant, whatever Israelites say, they're stupid. Roughly paraphrasing what he said. I don't know what he said verbatim, but he said something along those lines. Right? So, yeah, that's your leader right there, though. Okay? What happened when you be disrespectful to your parents? Because we know who his head was. And all you do is disrespect him. For no good reason. You know, but the Lord gonna bring judgment on him for that unless he repent. And if he do repent, and if that vision or dream that he had a while back that he told the apostles and all that stuff about, if that's true, the Lord gonna really have to humble him. A real good humbling, because he's exalted himself on high. Very prideful, is what I meant to say. You know, but nonetheless, just stay on point. Well, that's what I was saying. With all these things going on in the news, you got groups like that just going into bullshit. Like, bro, shit is about to hit the fan. And we're still talking about nonsense. You know, we're still out here, you know, not to knock, you know, us for making lessons on it, because I'll be making lessons on it too. But like, shit's about to hit the fan, but individuals are still out here saying everybody's gonna be saved. Like, what are we doing at this point? Shit's about to hit the fan, but individuals are still out here saying we preach. And forgive me for not bringing no precepts out yet. Forgive me. But individuals are still out here saying the Israelites are committing a racial idolatry, and they say only black people can be saved, and only black people are going to heaven. We're in the big 2025, and this is what people are still saying. You know, when you really think about this shit, it's fucking crazy. Slovakia. Slovakia. But individuals are still arguing over the fact that Yahweh Shai is really a so-called black man. But now they're saying it doesn't matter what he looks like. These are still the arguments of today. Right? We're still arguing about if women are actually good creatures. Like, what are we doing in the big 2025? That's my real question. I don't understand. Like, it's crazy. You know, all people are talking about is vanity, but nobody's worried about the point. No, the people are now more worried about shit hitting the fan because the Lord's shaking stuff up over here with this whole government shutdown ordeal. But people still ain't really thinking about all that, right? You still got, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say, but you get the point. All this stuff is happening in the news today, and you still have individuals worried about really essentially things that are vanity. Right, things that are super vain. They really don't matter. It's not really useful to anybody. But you still have individuals that are worried about that stuff still and accusing us of BS. Right? This is a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day. Right? There's too much stuff going on right now to be worried about BS. But you people, y'all gonna have to find that out the hard way. Unfortunately for you. Not unfortunate for us, but unfortunate for you. And there's other scriptures, other articles we can get concerned in this matter, right? But I want to go to, concerning the first article we went into in the title of the lesson. We're going to go to Isaiah 19. And it says, I'll start at verse 1. The point's at 4. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud. Right? And shall come into Egypt. This is all talking about America, by the way. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So the heart of Egypt shall melt. And you get more insight on that in Isaiah the 24th chapter, not 14, 24. All right? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So your fellow American against your fellow American. Right? Civil unrest, civil war, riots. All of that, whatnot, different factions and what do they call those things? Militias, right? And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom, right? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. All right, so the spirit of Egypt is failing. And you're seeing it piece by piece, bit by bit, crumbling, man. All right, what did that guy say a while back? The Elder Apostle Gabar always mentions, America is circling the drain pipe right about now. Whether you like to accept it or not, it's the truth of the matter. America is circling the drain pipe. And eventually they're gonna go down. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. Look at the council, it's being destroyed. It goes into multiple things, but one thing is going into, look at this government. The whole government shut down, the right versus left paradigm, all that nonsense. You know, it's just stupid at the end of the day. And everyone against his neighbor. Oh, forgive me, I went back up. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. Right, so they seek into these enchantments. Right, these sorceries, these enchantments. Right? Seeking to all this nonsense, you know? What else? The elites seeking to the fucking seeking to these demons and different entities on the left-hand side. Right? Forgive me. Anyway, getting distracted. There's a lot going on out here. I'm gonna just jump to the point. And the Egyptians, all right, the Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and the fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. Right? So the Lord said he's gonna give these Americans over to a fierce Lord. To a cruel Lord. All right, a cruel Lord, man. You know, and you're seeing that today, and we truly believe that's Donald Trump. That's your boy Nero. We believe that that's that cruel Lord. I mean, remember, they literally said this man cruel and immoral. He won't open the things up. He's cruel. Right? He's immoral. Right? He is cruel, man. That's them. That's your boy. Right? It says, in a fierce king. It is, like I said earlier in the lesson, this dude moving like a king. He don't care what the courts and judges say. He don't care what legislatives say. He don't care. So he don't care what. So he, you know, you have three branches in the government. You got executive branch, you have the legislative branch, and you have the judicial branch. Now the executive branch is the president's lot. That's where the president is. You know, he enforces shit. He's basically the enforcer. All right, executive, meaning execution, right? Meaning you're enforcing, you're bringing stuff to pass. The legislative branch, all right, kind of sounds like something to do with the law, right? That's because they make up the laws. They create the laws, right? And they, in a sense, help pass them, you know, through Congress. And then you have the judicial branch, which, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Judicial is going into judging, the court system and all that stuff, right? Judging matters. Trump is in a lot of the executive branch, and now he's really going above the legislative and judicial branch, which the legislative and judicial branch were created to keep the executive branch, which is the president, in check. This dude don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Like I said, he's moving like a king. Like, no, this my shit, nigga. Which we all know they're all controlled. All puppets at the end of the day, right? But it's to get the spices flowing in this place. To get some shit popping. To get some shit crack-a-lacking, you know? So, to continue on. Yeah, that's that. And what Trump is doing is very cruel. You know, actually, I brought this out in the lesson yesterday, but I'm going to do it again. We're going to get this out of the Good News translation. Right? This is Deuteronomy. This is Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 21. Food means life itself to poor people. And, this whole government SNAP benefit shutdown, due to the government shutdown, these people, these poor people, which is mainly Edomites, right? But these poor people, they're not getting their food. It's mainly affecting Jake. And it says food is life itself to poor people because they don't really come by it too often, in a sense. Now, we know these people only SNAP benefits. They niggas getting more than they fucking need, honestly. But you get the point of the scripture. Food means life itself to poor people, and taking it away from them is murder. So if you take food away from these poor people who value food as life itself, that's murder, man. So Esau's committing murder by doing this. That's crazy work, isn't it? And it says, it is murder to deprive someone of his living. And that's what you're doing. And it says, or to cheat an employee of his wages, which y'all do that too. Because what y'all do, them bi-weekly paychecks and them weekly paychecks instead of paying a man every day like you're supposed to. You're supposed to pay a man every day according to the scriptures. It's called daily bread. It's not called weekly bread or bi-weekly bread. It's called daily bread. Daily. You're supposed to pay daily, but you're withholding your checks and all that stuff, right? Crazy work. And when you go to stay in Sirach and you go to the 4th chapter, start at verse 1, it says, my child, don't prevent the poor from making a living. That's what you're doing. Because remember, it said food is life itself to poor people. So you're taking away what they do a living for. You're taking away their living at the end of the day, right? But you're also taking away the living of the working class because you're not even paying the government workers. That's why pretty soon, or actually it's already happening, the airspaces, certain airspaces and airports, they're being shut down because there are no pilots to fly the planes because they ain't coming to work because they ain't getting paid, right? You have TSA agents not showing up to work. So how you gonna you can't let people just enter the airport without being checked and searched, right? So you have that happening. So nobody can fly. A lot of people who travel are stranded right about now because of this whole government shutdown situation. So this is causing an unrest. All right, and unrest means exactly that, not being at rest. This is causing unrest among the people. And when people become uncomfortable, a lot of bad things begin to happen. They get to seeing things, right? They get to hearing voices, That's what they get to doing. And demons get to talking, and they get to listening, and they get to doing. So it says, or keep them waiting in their need. Going into these paychecks, all that, because like the Ak was bringing out last night in the lesson, if our math is right, we're about 5 to 6 weeks into this shutdown. So that means these individuals, if they're getting paid weekly, they missing out on 5 paychecks. Crazy work. And if they're getting paid bi-weekly, they're missing out on 2, going on 3 paychecks. This is crazy work. Crazy work. Right? And a lot of these people ain't managed their money well enough, so they're really struggling. This hurting them. Because a lot of people, and not even just because they don't manage their money well enough, because they're not getting paid well enough either. So you can't even just put it on that only, right? But a lot of these people are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling. And these niggas that miss hella paychecks right about now. So it's bad. Never give a hungry person any cause for resentment or anger. And that's what they're doing. They're giving hungry people, poor people, a cause to resent, a cause of anger. And that's wicked. You're not being a righteous ruler. But it's Esau. Don't add to the troubles of someone who is already desperate. If he is in need, don't put off giving to him. So you're not supposed to put off giving to him if he's already in need. All right, you're adding more troubles to people's lives and they're already catching the hell. Don't refuse to help a beggar. And the beggars right now are these fellow Americans, your average American, who is in distress, and they are. Don't turn your back on a poor person or give him any reason to curse you. All right, so there you have it, man. It's getting bad out here, right? And it says if he becomes so bitter that he does curse you, his creator will hear his prayers. And we're bitter. We're bitter as a mug, Esau. We cursing your ass. So you don't think the Most High hears it? You don't think Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai hears our prayers? You crazy, champ. You crazy. You crazy, man. But yeah, man, judgment's coming to this guy. This nigga causing mischief. Mischief. Dude's kingdom is crumbling. I want to go to 2nd Esdras. I'm going to end this lesson off here. 2nd Esdras 15, and I'm going to go straight to the point. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right? And these things, that's what lack of bread and great tribulation is bringing. It's going to bring chaos. There's an article I brought on the lesson yesterday where somebody from the Trump administration said if this government shutdown continues on, he's afraid that mass chaos is going to ensue. And to back his point, that's exactly what the hell is going to happen. You know, and guess what? Lord willing, this government stays shut down. Lord willing, it stays shut down. Lord willing, it causes some anarchy, some troubles. All right. Also, you didn't know, might make a lesson on it, but now they're talking about implementing a digital ID starting in Utah. We're in some great, amazing times, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great time to be alive. Is it hard being alive right about now? Absolutely. But it's still a beautiful time to be alive. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and we're watching the downfall of our enemy. And that's what we're happy to see, as according to Ecclesiastes 25. Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Chakwarash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught us His truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Abba Bo, Kwam Yasharallah, Gadol, Abadyam Lababal Hagadol, Yahweh Mahar, Wa Habatham. And until next time, I would like to say to you all, Shalom.